What if the person you invite to help yourself is unwilling to leave in your own home? Prince's grandfather, Shen Hou, scolded the King Yu, feeling very satisfied with himself. However, King Yu was preparing to attack him with his army, and this made Shen Hou extremely anxious. One of Shen Hou's ministers suggested, "Right next to us are the Qunrong people, who have a powerful army. We can borrow their soldiers and defeat King Yu. After that, we can make the previous crown prince, who is your grandson, the new king." Shen Hou was very happy to hear this plan and decided to act on it. He gathered his own soldiers and those of the Qunrong people and marched towards the capital city. King Yu saw that something was wrong, so he asked the minister. His army had not yet been sent out, but they were already under attack by the Qunrong people. King Yu asked his ministers what he should do. One minister suggested that they should light signal fires, and the other feudal lords would come to their rescue once they saw the flames. King Yu was a bit embarrassed because he had lit signal fires several times before just to make his queen, Bao Si, laugh, but no one had come to their aid. The Qunrong soldiers continued to attack the city, and the situation was becoming critical. King Yu turned to his ministers again and said, "We haven't engaged the enemy directly yet, and we don't know their strength. Why don't you go and test them?" The minister had no choice but to obey the king's orders and reluctantly went into battle. However, the Qunrong soldiers were very powerful, and the minister was killed in an instant. The Qunrong people then invaded the city, killing anyone they encountered and setting fires everywhere. King Yu watched as chaos spread throughout the city and decided to flee to Mount Li. Unfortunately, the Qunrong people discovered his whereabouts and quickly surrounded him. In the end, King Yu was killed by the Qunrong people. According to the agreement, Shen Hou gave all the gold, silver and jewels of the palace to the king of QuanRong, thinking that they would withdraw their troops after fulfilling the agreement. However, things did not go as expected. Upon receiving the treasure, the QuanRong king refused to withdraw his troops from the city and instead, spent his days drinking and enjoying the spoils of war. Shen Hou realized that if things continued like this, he would be held responsible for the downfall of the Zhou dynasty. Desperate, Shen Hou secretly sent 3 urgent messages to the neighboring states of Qin, Jin, and Wei, requesting their immediate assistance. He also informed the state of Zheng about the death of their ruler while guarding the king, urging them to seek revenge. The other states finally realized the seriousness of the situation and immediately marched their armies to the capital city. When Shen Hou saw the massive army arrive, he ordered the gates to be opened. The QuanRong king was caught off guard and fled with his few hundred men as he saw the 4 armies from the other states advancing. After the defeat of the invading QuanRong tribe, several countries held an emergency meeting to address the most pressing matter at hand, the coronation of a new king. With King Yu of Zhou already killed by the QuanRong and the crown prince still in the custody of the state of Shen, they sent someone to retrieve him. He would become the new king, known as King Ping of Zhou. However, some people couldn't help but wonder why the actions of the Shen Hou, who was responsible for the QuanRong rebellion, were not being scrutinized. Instead, his opinions were being accepted. There were a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, everyone had been worn down by King Yu's erratic behavior, so his death at the hands of the QuanRong was almost a relief. Secondly, the Shen Hou was the grandfather of the former crown prince, and with the new king being the grandson of the Shen Hou, it was unlikely that anyone would investigate his wrongdoing. King Ping's first order of business was to reward the nobles who had distinguished themselves in battle. The state of Wei was promoted from marquis to duke, while the state of Jin did not receive a promotion, but was granted a large tract of land. The state of Zheng also received land. Most importantly, the state of Qin, which had previously held no noble titles, was promoted to an earl. This made Qin a true equal among the other feudal states and laid a solid foundation for its later unification. However, once everyone returned home, a new problem arose. QuanRong had discovered that although the Zhou dynasty was not militarily strong, it was very wealthy. So they began raiding the Zhou dynasty, even taking several cities. In the previous war, not only had the Zhou dynasty's gold and silver been stolen, but its walls had also been destroyed. If the QuanRong attacked again, the Zhou dynasty would have difficulty even defending itself. So after consulting with his ministers, King Ping decided to move the capital. But where to move? The answer was Lui. What was Lui? In the past, the Zhou dynasty had held court meetings, during which all the feudal lords needed to travel to the capital of Haojing. However, Haojing was too far from the feudal lords, so the Zhou dynasty's ancestors, out of consideration for the lords, built Lui in the center of the feudal states. Every time there was a court meeting, King Zhou would receive the lords in Lui, making it much more convenient for everyone. Since Lui was the place where the king received the feudal lords, the palace were the same as those in Haojing. Therefore, King Ping decided to move the capital to Lui. On the way to Lui, King Ping encountered an event that would have a profound impact on the following centuries.